What's good with the YouTube convicts perspective? It's your boy, Big Flacco, sliding through, smashing through with my co-host, Big Senor Rojo. Whole lot of energy because we got a lot going on. Once again, a convict's perspective has an exclusive update for you, man. I know in the past we brought up an issue regarding badass Snoop being found guilty, but we've been able to at this time, as you guys know, we're kind of investigative reporters in a sense where we get information and we provide it to the people by the people, as you know. And we got some information about him recently being found guilty, being sentenced to 65 years, as well as a couple other of his co-defendants or people who are involved in separate cases that were just indicted or just took in deals. And Rojo got a whole lot of information. We're going to discuss this and then break it down. But this is an exclusive update here at Convicts Perspective.
All right, man. So I talked to one of my compa homeboys out of motherfucking Modesto. And yeah, Snoop got 65 years, man. He took it all the way to trial. Primo, he's a writer from Concord. He ended up getting 23 years. Young dude Dre also got 23 years. And they were originally offered like 17 and they said no. And then when they seen what happened to Snoop, man, they reached out and they got 23 each. The other individual that's involved, last name of Blanco, his court date was for some reason changed. He had the same court date as the other two gentlemen. This is a state indictment, and man, check this out, man. Here's today's lesson, man. There's multiple lessons in this, you guys. You ditch one of the main three. You walk away from the M, the NF, the AB. You go to one of these SNY yards. You go to the streets. You join another group that's not one of the big three, whatever. We'll call them riders. We'll call them Deuce Five. We'll call them independent riders, gay boy gangsters. Yeah, any one of these groups, right? You got to remember, if there's more than three of you, you have common identifying symbols. You commit crimes. You plan to commit crimes. This is where today's lesson is. Primo got 23 years for conspiracy because during a phone call, when he found out somebody got hit, his response was good riddance. He got conspiracy for that one statement. He wasn't involved in the plotting, planning, scheming, none of that. He simply said basically, oh, well, you know what I mean? That got him a conspiracy in that assault, attempted murder, whatever, however they wrote it up, man. But one of their guys, Stranger, man, he got hit in Lancaster recently, man. He's not doing too well as far as holding his mud, man. And there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on with this, man. Apparently, there's 2 more different indictments coming out, at least against Snoop. I don't know who other are involved, man. There's a couple other players that are involved in this, and these are all state indictments, man, which is kind of, in a sense, good for them because I just can't imagine the riders as a group having anywhere to program inside of the federal system. You know, don't get me wrong, Snoop would give it a try. You know what I mean? But that wouldn't be a good look, man. But yeah, I mean, we don't got a whole heck of a lot of information. You know, details will unfold, man. But you know, we just figured this out yesterday, and I got it confirmed through another source today that Snoop took it to trial, ended up getting 65. Primo from Concord, he got 23. The individual Dre, 23. Blanco was supposed to take a deal. They moved his court date for some reason, which is always suspicious. You know, the dude Scrappy, supposedly he's not telling. That's not 100%.
They found a piece there and he admitted the piece was his.
Yeah.
Did they say that he actually got on them when they tried to remove him? They actually got on him?
I believe that they actually got on him.
They got at him, right?
Yeah, and he's still not cooperating at this point. You know, at least that's the information I got.
Okay.
So I mean, look, man, what I really want to talk about with this is like, yeah, these guys got broke off, whatever. It happens. Conspiracy, man. Me and Flacco right now, we're broke, say. We decide we're gonna hustle. I call Flacco, I'd be like, hey, I know where to get some weight, bro. Let's grab this bag and make some money. I contacted one other dude asking him maybe, hey, can you move this for us? 1, 2, 3 people involved. Conspiracy to distribute methamphetamines. And all we did was talk about it. Heroin, crack, coke, don't matter. All we did was simply suggest that we need to make some money and this could be a way to go about doing it. We never acquired the material. We never moved the material. We simply brought that up as a means to further our agenda as a group. And if it's 3 or more people, we can be considered a gang. Think about that, you guys. It don't take much, bro. It don't take much. When they want you bad enough, that's when conspiracy comes out because they know they're going to nail you. All it takes is one phone call. Hey, bro, I'm broke. I need to, man, can you front me a pound? Yeah, I know where to get rid of it. The homeboy John can get rid of it. Conspiracy right there, bro. That's all it takes, man. So think about this when you're out there hustling, living that life that, oh, you're smarter than them. You don't talk business this. You don't never go the same way twice. You got your stuff hidden over here and you send somebody else there and they drop it and you send somebody else to pick it up. They have technology, bro, and they have time and they have resources. They have patience. They will wait until you mess up. And you're going to mess up because you don't know exactly what they have, what means they're using. Straight up. Be careful in that lifestyle.
I think the thing that we have to touch on a little bit more is that communication, good riddance. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many times in my past where I was randomly communicating with a person and I communicated it in riddle. Took a phone conversation, was kind of straight directed a little bit about it without exposing anything that was criminal element, but just talking about someone got removed or something like that. Oh, this person's all bad. Whatever it may be, they rolled it up. They started doing all this stuff like about, shoot, what was it? In the last 10 years, all right? About 10 years ago, I think it was, where they started to indict people that were on rosters. They were getting caught with paperwork. You know what I'm saying? So this takes it to a whole different level right now as far as the communications, if you get caught with certain emails, you get caught with certain phone calls. I mean, just that comment, good riddance, you're hit on a conspiracy charge because you support it. I mean, what's next? If you make a thread on YouTube in the comments, are they going to check your IP and find you and charge you next? Those are the kind of things you got to worry about, man. I mean, they're not playing. And from the information that we got, right, I actually got to hear the conversation that Rojo was having. And they wanted to throw everything they could at this case to make sure they had a conviction. They didn't care how good the testimony was. They didn't care how good the evidence was. There was a lot of faulty things that came into play. And yet they still found a way to find these people guilty. And they kind of scared them into taking a deal because the only alternative was this: either take the 23 years or you're looking at life to go to trial. And a lot of people, right, as much as you may have a fighting case, right, this is how the district attorneys play their game. Okay, you're looking at 75 years, you're looking at 30 years of life, whatever it may be, whatever type of enhancement they can get you on. Conspiracy is a serious charge. So what they do is then they downplay it, offer you like 20 years, 18 years, 22 years to get that conviction. Because just that thought in your head, if I lose this in trial, if they railroad me in trial, if they lie, if they get informants on the stand that maybe lie in testimony, I could be looking at life. And those are the things that you have to look for, especially with Stranger. Apparently Stranger had an axe to grind. He felt some type of way with being removed and, being pushed out of his little movement, whatever it may be. That's not our business. We're not here to advocate or promote any of these groups. We're here just to give you the reality of this situation. So these are the kind of things that you're looking at when you're facing a case, man. This is how the DAs play, man. Understand this, especially with these new gang enhancements, right? 10, 20, 30 years. You could have a case that you have beatable, right? Try to suppress evidence, whatever you may have to do, right? But you still have that fear in the back of your head. Okay, if I lose this and take it to trial, that 20 years that they just gave me may turn into 33 years. I know in Alameda County, on a lot of those murder cases out there, which has a high murder rate in that county, a lot of times they're offering people 30 years, 35 years and taking off the L. Whereas sometimes some of these individuals may actually have a case, you know what I mean? But instead of taking it to trial, it's always that threat. Especially that was a key tool that they used to use in 3-strike cases. Okay, we'll drop a strike, we'll offer you 17 years. You have a date. And, it could be for stealing a candy bar, stealing a bike or whatever, going into Home Depot, coming out with a drill, whatever it may be. Because you're looking at life, you decide to take that 17 to 20 years where if you got that crime without having a strike, you may be only getting 16 months county time, maybe 2 years at the most. This is how those DAs use laws and leverage to push for convictions. This is why they have such a high conviction rate. And Snoop, much respect. He tried to go to trial. Hopefully, he has appeal action. From my understanding, the way Lancaster district attorneys push this case, he has a lot of action. But man, it's kind of hard, man, when you're sitting there in your 30s, in your 40s, and you're off for 15, 18 years. Maybe I'll be home in 11, maybe I'll be home in 13. But the alternative is if I take this to trial, I'm looking at life. This is how serious. This is why we do these videos. This is why we do these spills, because we're trying to get the message out there to you guys that this is a reality. That little shooting that you do where you may not have hit somebody, but you're being charged and they're offering you 18 years and you decide to take that to trial, they're going to hit you with everything that they can. Next thing you know, you're looking at 40 years.
No doubt, man. I've seen it happen so many times, man. Like Flacco said, what they do, like a real simple example, man. You get caught with a firearm. All that is you got caught with a firearm. You're walking down the street, you got pulled over, you had one on you. You haven't brandished it at nobody. You haven't used it in a crime. It's not stolen. You know what I mean? It's none of those things. But now you're in a gang. There's an enhancement. You got one strike in the past. Now your time's doubled. You've been to the pen twice. Add 2 years for prison priors. On these second strike cases, they double the max, bro. So if you got 16, 2, and 3 for a firearm, it's automatically 6. Now you got to do 85%. Add 2 prison priors. Now it's 8 at 85%. That's not even what they're going to do with you being a gang member in possession of a vehicle. What if you get pulled over in front of a school? Now you got a loaded firearm in a school zone as a gang member, bro. When you take that gun, okay, I'd rather get caught with it than without it. It's only 16, 2, and 3. Remember, no, they'll try to make it uncomfortable for you. They'll try to tell you 16 years. They'll try to tell you 20. They'll try to trigger lock you. It's not 16, 2, and 3 just because it's supposed to be 16, 2, and 3. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It all boils down to that DA's how he feels that day, bro. I've got busted with the gun, and I've got 16 months. I got busted one time. They were talking about 18 years at 85%. I ended up having to take 4. But damn, I went in to see my public defender, and I'm like, well, what's my max on this? I'm thinking it's probably 5 because I had 2 prison priors at the time. He's like 18 at 85. And I was like, oh, I think I farted a little bit. My stomach started hurting. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how's that? He's like, well, due to the recent changes in laws, this is now an illegal firearm. There's nothing illegal about it. Semi-automatic, only 10 rounds, whatever. But the assault weapons ban characteristics made it a banned assault weapon. Now you can have them. But in that particular time I got busted, this particular gun was basically considered a machine gun, even though it wasn't. It was just a regular ass rifle, bro. 18 at 85, man. I sat in county jail fighting that for 13 months. Got it down to 4, signed immediately 4, no strikes, halftime, all that. And I was out in a couple months because I was already down for a while. But think about this, man. Man, imagine if I still would have been active at the time. It would have been over.
Yeah.
Over.
And
if I was an NF member that had that gun,
oh, it's a wrap, bro.
I'd be sitting in there with Chuco right now. DC.
So yeah. let me ask you something, bro. What's next? What's next now? How do you think this affects the writers and their little movement? Apparently they don't know. Apparently they don't know who's all telling. They don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From what we heard.
Well, what the homie said was there's 2 more indictments that are coming still. And Snoop's involved in both of them. I don't know none of the other players at this point in time. I'll do more to find out. I only know like 2 or 3 riders. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to get that information. And I'm going to try to figure out what's going on. But man, let this be a lesson, man. It doesn't matter if you're a northerner, southerner, white boy. Man, you could be on the other side of the fence on the mess and Y yards, bro, and the shit will still happen to you if you're trying to be a gangster, man.
So let me ask you something. Is this I know there's been little small factions where people get hemmed up, right? Is this the first attempt for them to try to bring forth of an indictment against them? Like the first SNY actually being indicted? Do we know that yet?
I'm not sure. We could research that and find out, man. I mean, this might be the first sizable one, but I know that they try to go after them dudes a lot, and that's why CDC went through the process of trying to validate them guys for a while. Because once a government group validates them, the other government agencies will be able to use that validation that they are in an organized group against them in the future.
I read an article right previously about them. I got to find it, and it talked about them being in a motel room discussing Ryder business about things that they were going to do, kind of almost a little bit different than the like regiments, but more along the lines of how they could work together to generate money for each other. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of interesting. It was a little bit almost kind of, how do you say it, without having a chain of command structure really to it, but working with other compas. It was kind of interesting. I've seen an article on it, man. It was kind of interesting.
Hey, the United States government, the California Department of Justice, they're not going to care what their chain of command structure looks like or doesn't look like, man. If they're all saying they're riders, they got Playboy bunnies tattooed on them and they're committing crimes together, it's going to go down as organized crime. You're not going to hear words like active or inactive, SNY, GP. That's all going to be irrelevant, man. They're going to pursue you as a criminal organization. They don't care about the politics of the California state prisons. They're going after organized criminal groups. And when you're sitting there discussing how you're going to help each other, it's not like, hey, we're going to get you guys jobs at this store we own with legitimate money that we got through loans and, we pay our taxes on. No, they're talking about hustling and stuff, bro. I mean,
and they're like everybody else.
They can use that in future shit. 10 years down the line, they can use that video as evidence that that's how this group has been known to fund themselves. It's over.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know what I mean? It's the same thing that we get in the debate. Oh, they're clubs, right? Well, they consider themselves movements. It doesn't matter if you call yourself a movement, a club, you know what I mean, a group. You know what I'm saying? If you're committing any type of illicit activities,
club.
You know what I mean? You can call it. I just had to go there, man. You know what I mean? But they're still going to classify you as gangs regardless, man. And this is going to set like for future cases, man. They're going to look back at this and they're going to use this for cross reference. Watch. And once they know that they can hit them with this type of indictment, you know what I'm saying? You got to worry now. They're going to, if you have a bunny or something like that, you have certain tattoos. It's all that stuff's going to play into a factor. Just because you could wear that stuff out there on a main line now in the feds, out there in the streets, out there in the state pen, they can put NF on them. They could put fucking Ensol. Just because you have that right now, you get out with those tattoos and you commit a crime. Now you got something straight on you on blast, admitting what you are. They can hit you with an indictment just on that. Just because they're letting you do that and they're not validating you, does not mean that can't hurt you out later on down the lines. Some of these dudes that recently got indicted blasted NF on them as soon as they got to the main lines. You don't think those tattoos are going to be used for this new recent indictment? I mean, Sammy Luna got it, bam, right here. You know what I mean? A couple other people I've seen, Young Buck got it right here on his stomach. You don't think when future indictments happen that they can't use that? Look, they have the identifying mark, NF. Same thing with Ryder, same thing with MA. Any of them putting any of these symbols on them, any time of act of crime that they commit, whether it's a misdemeanor or felony, whatever it may be, they can classify that as being part of an organization, that they did it on behalf of the organization.
Yeah, and then guess what? It's not a misdemeanor no more now. It's a felony. Just that little simple stuff. And I remember I was in Tracy in the hole, and gang people came to harass me and stuff. I was no longer, NF at the time. And they see my NF tattoo, they're like, oh, what's that? Because I didn't say shit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, that's my girlfriend's initials. I pulled the old Nancy Flores out. They were so mad, bro. They were just like, all right, smart ass. You know what I mean? Like, man, I'm still not.
That's my senora right there. Nancy Flores.
Like, dude, you guys, you know, I'm not in that lifestyle no more, man. And they're still all mad about it. It's like, but shit, nowadays, I still wonder, man, what if 5 years from now I'm broke and I want to hustle? Man, can they still use that against me? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, you're not dead. You're not this and that. Are you still doing, you know what I mean? It's like, it's awkward, bro. These decisions are lifetime decisions that affect you.
They're,
These
they're, gonna-
tattoos.
they're
Man.
gonna say Rojo did YouTube on behalf of trying to. He was undercover the whole time.
Hey, you never know, bro. Hey, I've
Those,
seen
hey,
some. I've seen some
those super
ridiculous-
chats. Hey, everybody. Hey, those super chats were contributions to the regiment, man. You know what I mean? This is how they're.
I've seen some ridiculous allegations in my days against all kinds of groups. You know what I mean?
Oh
Whether
yeah, for sure.
it's the white boys, the excuse me, white men, for all of you guys who are offended. Come on, man.
Brother.
Anyway, again, against all kinds of groups, different backgrounds, ethnicities, gangs, whatever, where they throw so much at you that something's gonna stick. My first time going to prison, I had 12 felonies, bro. I had like 10 second-degree burglaries, 1 first-degree burglary, and 1 auto theft. Now the odds are really high that I did them all. You know what I'm saying? I probably did 90%. But the thing is, all they could prove was 1 second-degree burglary. But if I took that to trial, it's 16, 2, and 3 or whatever it is. You know what I mean? They offered me 2 years for 12. So I took it. 12 felonies, 2 years. I mean, that's crazy not to. So I took that shit, you know, but man, look at my criminal history now. Like, look, if I wanted to say run for this or run for that, I would have to get each one of those expunged and whatever. But the point, that's not even the point. The point is they stack shit on you. They don't care about the evidence. They could come with something totally fictitious. If they heard your name was mentioned in something, they're going to charge you with it and just hope you plead to it.
And that's what happened. The legacy of Snoop is what found him guilty, not this case, from my understanding. And that came from several people. They've told me that they had no case. He really had no involvement in this issue whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's his legacy. It's his recognition. It's him being known as the president, man, of the founding movement, Northern Riders.
It's Playboy presidential.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what found him guilty. And it's the same thing with any type of gang affiliations. A lot of times, it ain't the crime that you committed; it's the affiliations and what you look like.
Yeah,
that's just the reality of it.
Been at the casino, your homeboys are out there putting in work. They come with the fucking indictment against your whole little regiment. You're going down too. They're finding some reason to put you down, whether you're on camera at the casino, whether this or that. You know what I mean? Because man, that used to be one of the things. I mean, shit, man, you guys handle this. I'm gonna be at the casino. You know what I mean? Under all these cameras where they can't say I was nowhere near that. That ain't gonna work though. When they come at you as a whole with them gang type of laws and enhancements, you're going down too. They got something. When the feds come, they got something. When the Department of Justice comes, they have something. It ain't like no, we think you were part of this drug group and none of that.
And they can't, and there's nothing positive with the affiliations you hold. You know what I'm saying? It's not like these groups are out there doing toy drives, you know what I mean, or riding bikes for tots. You know what I mean? Or doing any kind of, you know what I mean, contribution to the community like that.
You gotta be in a club to do those kind of things.
Oh, well, you know what I mean. But you get what I'm saying though? You can't use that. Well, look at this. People I associate with, look at the good charity work we're doing. No, they got you on videotape, man, dropping off some dope to a fucking pregnant woman. You know what I mean? Simple as that. You know what I mean? Little things like that. Affiliation sometimes is just so easy, man, for them, just because they are out there. SSU used to be out there taking photos, the feds, everything, man. If you think that your activities, if you're out there in any type of involvement and you think you're that sly or slick, even if they let you get by with stuff for years, don't think they don't know.
They know. There's always people telling, bro. Always. You got a circle with more than 3 people, somebody's telling. And maybe not necessarily the cops, but they're telling to somebody who's talking about it that's telling to the cops. And then bam, guess what? We heard reliable information because this dude's snitching before. He's not even part of your circle. You don't even know who he is. Someone that knew your business told him inadvertently. That dude's word of mouth by testifying on the stand before and giving credible information throughout history is enough for them to get a warrant to start watching you guys. That's what this lifestyle brings, bro.
Yeah.
If you're doing it, man, I wish you the best. But I just want you to know that it's a no-win situation, man. All the victories you have are extremely gonna be short-lived, bro. That's a couple years. Fuck, man, you might do 10 out there hustling, moving. But God damn it, the longer you're out there, the more of a case they're building against you too. Promise you. That's today's lesson, man. So here it is one more time, man. Snoop got 65, Primo got 23, Dre got 23. Blanco's court date got moved to sometime in the future, and that's kind of suspicious. This is a state indictment, so they're not going to be doing any federal kind of things. Primo got 23 years because he said good riddance on the phone after he had heard somebody got removed. He said good riddance.
He took the deal though.
And took 23 years because the alternative was life. And you never know what else them people have. They don't got to necessarily stay. They could have a whole 2 other more indictments against you, and it doesn't got to be part of that discovery because they haven't charged you with it yet. You know? So yeah, stranger got hit at Lancaster. He's talking. Scrappy's holding his mud at this point in time. There's your little news. You know, previously we aired it said Snoop had got life. We were told so by one of his family members as well as one of his subordinates. They misinformed us. This is accurate. So that's the new breaking news. This is Rojo, Big Homie Flacco. We'll probably go live later. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good Friday. Keep it positive. And don't do no conspiracies, bro. They're not playing. Have a good day.